Starting with Jim Sedano.
I wasn't pointing fingers other than to make a generic comment. But we're going to run, so do we try and do this by 3:10? Do we have any public speakers? No. Okay. Can I ask for a motion for minutes, please?
Motion made.
Second?
Second.
On.
There you go.
Okay, I now have the mic on again. Thank you. Mark, you have the first one. Be guided, obviously, by the time elements. We want to make sure we get through the other stuff, but let's go through very quickly, okay?
Would you like me to wait for the overhead, or people can refer to the book?
I'd like you to start.
Okay. Works for me. Good afternoon. My name is Mark Beanstalk. I'm the Program Manager for Communications at New York City Transit. This afternoon, I'll be briefing you on 3 projects: the Sonnet ATM-A Communications Network, the ATM-B Communications Network, and the Public Address Customer Information Screen Project. The Sonnet ATM project installed a communications superhighway for all of our subway passenger stations, as well as the on and off ramps at all of the A division stations. The first major application to use this communications highway is the Public Address Customer Information Screen Project, which I'll be presenting in a few moments. The job is substantially complete. Closeout is planned for February, and there are no major issues at this time. The ATM-B project is installing the on and off ramps for all of the B division passenger stations and shares the same superhighway as the A division stations. We are currently in the testing and acceptance phase of the contract and continuing to address the environmental challenges encountered throughout the system. The contractor has filed a claim for a time extension with associated impact costs. That claim is currently in negotiation. Beneficial use for the first 2 communication security circuits has been circulated. The Public Address Customer Information Screen Project is providing train arrival information for the A division passenger stations and is progressing well at this time. We have already exceeded our target of placing 75 stations in service by the end of 2010. In fact, 98 stations are currently in service, and we expect to have 100 stations online by the end of the year. According to the most recent MTA market research survey, an overwhelming 95% of customers who have viewed the countdown clocks are satisfied, with 55% being reported as very satisfied. We are currently testing the Stage 3 software, which is the next release of the software, and have successfully completed system scalability testing. This testing verified that the PACIS system can be expanded beyond the A division. However, because we do not have centralized train location information for the B division, we are unable to expand this system to provide real-time train arrival for the B division. Rather than wait another 15 years until centralized information may be available, we have undertaken several initiatives to provide train arrival information for the B division. Len Ciaccio, Chief Electronics Maintenance Officer, will be presenting these efforts to you following the conclusion of my presentation. The contractor has experienced some resource issues which have impacted the substantial completion of the contract. We are working with the contractor to address these issues and to mitigate any further delay. Thank you.
I just wanted, without slowing us down, Andrew has one thing he'd like to say. He said it in 3 words before. What was it?
Riders love it.
Thank you. Okay. I've never actually heard him say that before, so I just wanted to actually have it public.
Even Andrew does, which is an interesting more.
Okay, Lenny, you're up.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm Len Ciaccio. I'm the Chief Electronics Maintenance Officer for the Department of Subways, and I'm going to provide an update on the pilots for providing train arrival information on the B Division. As Mark and Mr. Albert just stated, the train arrival information on the A Division has been extremely well received, and at the request of Mr. Walder and Mr. Prendergast, we began exploring options to provide train arrival information for our customers on the B Division. There are constraints on the B Division due to the age of the public address systems and the lack of a centralized control system. In order to address, and the other goals were to implement implement these train arrival messages in as short a period of time and to utilize the existing infrastructures at the stations with minimal investments. In order to achieve this, all the stakeholders in New York City Transit worked together, the engineering groups and the operating groups, and a pilot project was put together to allow us to test the various concepts that we have developed. These concepts will not provide the depth of information that you see on the A division, but they do provide accurate information on train arrival on the B division. Most cases, we will be able to tell our customers if the train is 1 station, 2 stations, or 3 stations away, and in some cases, we will be able to provide countdown clocks.
But the difference, of course, is you won't be able to tell them which train it is.
In some cases, we will. In some cases, we won't. We will be able to tell in almost all cases that a train is arriving on either the express track or the local track, and we have been able to provide at a few stations, because of their configuration, that an A train is arriving or a C train is arriving. So it will definitely be infrastructure and station dependent. 2 of the concepts have already been tested utilizing track circuit triggers and programmable logic controllers from the signaling system. This is an example of the signage that is provided when we use track circuits. As stated, we can tell our customers that a train is arriving on the express track or the local, and whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 stations away. This is one using the programmable logic controllers, and this is an example at 145th Street on the A and the C line, and this one does provide countdown clocks. Our status at this time is that we have implemented train arrival messages on the A and the C line from 207th Street down to 23rd Street at 19 of the 25 stations. The 6 stations that weren't implemented are due to the constraints of the PA systems at these locations. We either did not have signs, or in some cases, we did not even have audio capabilities. But that is being addressed in the near term. We're working on a second pilot on the Flushing line that is utilizing PLCs, but is taking it to a next step where instead of going directly from the PLCs to the public address system, we're utilizing a server-based system that will utilize our new Sonnet network as transmission. It's an enhancement on the first pilot and gives us better capabilities for the future. The next location where we intend to roll out is at 13 stations on the Queens line from 5th Avenue to Woodhaven Boulevard. At this time, we've decided to utilize PLCs, but we haven't decided whether we'll feed directly to the PA system or through a server, as we're doing at our second pilot on the Flushing line. The main thing here is that we are proceeding with parallel efforts. We're not utilizing a single project. We have multiple teams working on multiple projects to fully test out the different pilots. There are also 3 concepts of operation that we're proceeding with under lab test at this point. The first one is utilizing radio frequency identification. This will provide more detailed information, but we are concerned about cost. In this case, we will be installing a transmitter on each train, which will be read by wayside receivers and then fed to a central server. The second, which seems to have some very good potential, is to utilize GPS signals. We'll mount a transmitter in the train, and at outdoor stations, it'll be able to transmit the train's location over the public network, Verizon, Sprint, etc., to a central server, and then pass that on to our PA systems. The third pilot that we're trying is to utilize what we're calling a smart sign. Instead of the CIS signs just displaying information that they receive, these signs will actually have the capability of storing messages and interpreting what they receive. These will best be utilized at at approximately 90 stations on the B division that have the oldest versions of our public address system without customer assistance signs. These will be able to interface directly from the source material, either a server or a PLC. Our next steps, we'll continue with the pilots. We intend to try to implement the 3 pilots that I discussed by the end of 2011. Our main concern is to make sure that we do not interfere with any other wireless or vital systems that are operating. Once we've tested the technologies and ensured that they are sound and provide effective information, we will develop a project based upon those technologies. The most important thing here is that we are anticipating that we will not have a one-size-fits-all solution. Each station may be uniquely satisfied based on the infrastructure capabilities, based upon the technology fits, based upon the cost, and the age of other equipment in the area. Once we've tested all the technologies and we've decided on a mixture of which ones will be installed at which stations, we will develop a full project scope with schedule and estimates, and that will be presented to the board at the appropriate time. Thank you.
Comments, questions? So let me, from this chair, express my thanks to Len and his team and to Tom for the way I think that they're approaching this. I will tell you, it doesn't make them terribly comfortable to be launching 5 parallel efforts. But I think what they're responding to is the point that Andrew made a moment ago. There's something here in terms of what we are doing with our system that people really love. And going through it in the type of process that we might have done before simply will not give an outcome in the time frame that people expect. And I think it is really a credit to the way everyone has jumped on board with this. Lenny underplayed a little bit the 207th Street to 23rd Street. The fact of the matter is that in-house forces went away and said we have to do better and found a way to be able to do it. And I think we all have to be accepting of the fact that nothing that he's talking about will be 100% perfect. But we're much, much better off to be able to provide this information, to be able to build off the things we're doing. And I expect we'll probably go back and change it over time. But you know something, if we spent a really long time designing this and spent a long time putting it in place, we'll probably go back and change it over time anyway, because this technology is changing so rapidly that we'll never be able to keep up with it either way. But things are happening. We're able to respond. One of the questions I'm now getting in my office, which is a really nice question to get, is when do I get these signs at my station, in my district? Right now, there's one borough that has no signs, by the way. It's just a function of the way the system was built. But there are none in Queens. There are none in Queens. There are lots in the Bronx. There are lots in Brooklyn. There are lots in Manhattan. There are none in Queens. I'm actually very happy to see that we'll be able to do that. It's just a function of the way the system was built and the like. It was not anything else. But this will actually begin to do some of that in that borough as well. So thank you. I think it really shows a lot in doing that.
Good afternoon. My name is Nitish Patel, and I'm a Signal Program Manager for the Signal. And I will brief you on the CBTC rollout strategy program we have it. I'll start with the information. I'll give you what is CBTC technology and the brief history behind our selection of the CBTC technology. Also, I will outline the key objective of the Signal program and how the CBTC technology will help us to achieve that. And of course, I will give you the status on the current CBTC project, and I will define the next steps moving forward, what we're going to do on the CBTC program. Like I mentioned, CBTC technology is the latest generation of the train control system. Currently, we use most of the time is the fixed block signaling system, and people moved on to the cap signaling. And now latest is the people, all the properties are going towards the CBTC. And It is deployed all over the world, especially in the Europe, is widely accepted technology. What we did 12 years ago, we had a number of international peer review, and we hired a consultant to go over the world, and we negotiated, and we had a dialogue with a lot of properties, and we visited a lot of properties. And based upon all that recommendation we received from the other properties and the peer reviews and the consultant, at that time we all agreed that the CBTC technology is the way to go, and we selected. The main reason the CBTC technology can be deployed on the existing signaling system, and you can run a CBTC train and non-CBTC train at the same time. And that's the reason of the selection of the CBTC technology for signal replacement. Basically, what CBTC does, it basically gives us a state of good repair for the automatic territory. So whenever the CBTC is deployed, basically we take off most of the automatic signal, and most of the circuit, track circuit goes away also along with that. The key objective, I will go through the key objective of the signal program and what are the challenges we're facing today on the signal program, and how the CBTC technology is going to help us to achieve the key objective. I think we are all aware that today we have a signaling system which is much older, and we're facing the challenge of state of good repair. At the same time, we're facing the challenge of the ridership increase, or we're going to face in 10, 25 years to address that issue. And CBTC technology can address both at the same time. CBTC technology can allow us to achieve the state of the good repair and also increase the capacity also. We can run more train, a closer train, safely on the same line, more than the fixed block signaling technology can allow. Also, the CBTC technology can enhance the safety. So the fixed block technology today enforces the speed only at the signal location, while the CBTC technology can allow you to have a continuous speed enforcement. CBTC technology can allow you to enforce the speed at the work zone area. So if the people working on the wayside, we can enforce the speed through the work zone area. While in the current technology, we have to rely on the operator to maintain that. So, and the major advantage, I think you heard in the morning the presentation on the maintenance issues on the signaling side. With the CBTC technology deployment, we can substantially reduce the number of wayside equipment. So most of the automatic signal can go away, and the number of tracks can dramatically reduce. And that will save us a maintenance time, and less people has to go out on the wayside and do the repair work. The CBTC always also provides a centralized control. So you get CBTC subsystem is automatic train supervision. So you can have a visibility of all the train from the one location, and it can have a better capability of the PSCI system. The sign, mark, and Lenny is doing today, they're using the track circuits and the annunciator and other technology. But the CBTC technology, ATS technology, can provide the real-time information to the PSCIS. So that PSCIS capability can be improved. And also under the program, we have a provision to improve the competition by having more CBTC supplier to bring in. So I will explain to you later on the presentation that we have a capability to bring on more than 2 suppliers, and hence we can reduce the cost of the CBTC. To give you the status on the current project, the Kanarsi line has been placed in service in 2006, and at that time we realized that the ridership went up quite a bit, and the number of trains equipped with the CBTC cannot provide a complete removal of the signaling system, the existing signaling system. So we kept the signaling system existing from Broadway Junction to 8th Avenue on the Kanarsi line, and from 2006 until we equipped the 8 additional trains, we allowed the CBTC operation on the whole line, but the mixed mode means equipped CBTC train and unequipped non-CBTC train. We have equipped the 8 additional R160 trains with the CBTC equipment, and today we run all the CBTC train on the Kanarsi line, and we're going to start removing the signaling system, the existing, the old one, from Broadway Junction to 8th Avenue starting April next year. The status on the flushing line, again, the reason we selected the flushing line is a standalone line. We don't share the fleet to the other line. And that's why we thought that CBTC is the right deployment at this time. We awarded the job on June 16, 2010 to the TELUS. And right now, all the field surveys are going on, and they submitted the design, and we're reviewing the design. A lot of working group in progress today, and we're reviewing the TELUS CBTC design very aggressively. Under this project, we're going to replace the two interlocking at the First Avenue and the Times Square will be replaced. CBTC will be overlaid from the Main Street to Times Square, and also CBTC will be overlaid on the 7-line extension also. Whenever we're going to overlay the CBTC, all the automated territory, which is right now very old and 25 horsepower also, will be removed from the line. To ensure the safety of the CBTC system and independently verify the processes the TELUS is going to follow, we also hired independent safety assessor, Batal, and the contract has been awarded in August 2010. Before I give you the current status on the Culver CBTC test track, let me just explain that the Canarsie and the Flushing are the capture line. That means that the train operate on the Canarsie line and the Flushing line are dedicated to those lines. So we don't have to worry about a train equipped with the TELUS CBTC equipment or TELUS computer goes out on a wayside on a line where Siemens computer is working, and we don't have to worry about for Flushing line and Canarsie line that they don't have to talk to each other and verify the interoperability. But before we deploy the CBTC on a B division, and most of the other B division lines are diverging route, that means a train will go from one line to another, and we have to ensure that a computer supplied by the TELUS or any other supplier will talk to the computer supplied by other CBTC supplier. And that not only talking, also need to be verified that the safety is not compromised. So under the CBTC test track, we're going to validate the interoperability between the CBTC subsystem. We're going to update the CBTC interoperability specification. Also, we want to make sure that we do the validation of the ATS CBTC also. So whenever we do the ATS for the B division, we don't provide RTO a different flavor for every line. So RTO will get the same ATS functionality for all the line. And this CBTC test track on the Culver line will give us a permanent test track. So anytime in the future, if you enhance any functionality on the CBTC, you don't have to worry about testing on a main line and disturb the people. You can go on the test track and do the testing and update your specification, update your system. It will also help us to qualify the additional CBTC supplier. So we getting integrated test facility, a lab facility, and a test track to qualify a new supplier also to improve and increase the competition. Today the jobs in a procurement phase, we negotiating with Siemens and TELUS. These are our two qualified suppliers, and we hoping to award in June 2011. The next step, like I said before, that 12 years ago we started international peer review, and we went out and met with a lot of properties, and a lot of things evolved from then. The CBTC evolved, so the next step we want to make sure that we optimize the CBTC technology before we implement on the B division. So we're going to start hosting the international peer review again. We're also going to engage a consultant, a train control consultant, and we're going to make sure that we don't engage a consultant who is involved with us for the last 10, 12 years to avoid any biased opinion from the consultant. Their main job for this is to optimize the CBTC technology, to ensure that the strategy we have, to validate our strategy that is a cost-effective, and also the strategy how to reduce the project duration, and better approach to roll out the CBTC on the B division and eventually on the A division. So these are the dialogue we're going to have with the people. We already had a dialogue with the RATP, that is the Paris Metro and London Underground, but we're going to continue dialogue with them, and we're going to add also the Madrid Metro also, and we're going to learn each lesson from them also.
Can you go back to that for a second? I just jump in here for 1 second?
Sure.
I think one of the things here, when you think about the European properties that are there, each of those European properties have been installing CBTC, but in some cases, in each case, for slightly different objectives in the way that they're doing it. The London system has been very much worried about reliability and about throughput. They have small trains. They need to get frequent trains going through, and that's been their big focus. RATP has a greater vision than anyone else does about actually moving to driverless operation. They already have a driverless operation on a new line, and they want to move to a driverless operation on line 1, which is the oldest line in their system. The first time anyone will have retrofit to move to trains that are operating in that mode. And I think Madrid has probably made more progress than anyone else at moving quickly and rapidly to be able to do CBTC at a pace that far exceeds anything that we're contemplating right now. Now, I'm sorry, RATP is Paris. I will both belie the poorness of my French and my ignorance of what the initials mean, but it's the Paris Metro. I think these are really, really important for us right now. These are systems of a size and scale and comparability and an age that are comparable to New York. There are no other examples anywhere in the country that are like that. They've all been working to do it, and there are multiple outcomes that are going on. Every one of them is much further along than we are. Right? We are way, way behind all of these properties in doing it, despite the efforts that were started. It's taken a long time. It's not moving as quickly as we might have hoped, and we have an awful lot to learn. We need to be back in this forum. We need to be back in this space, and we need to be figuring out how to make all three of the objectives that various people are moving toward, throughput, reducing cost, and the speed of implementing this, a reality in what we have here. That's a big challenge from where we are today. I know Tom accepts that. I mean, we're all working to try to be able to do it. But we got a big path here in doing this.
I agree. Yeah. So we're going to keep on doing the modernization of the interlocking in advance of the CBTC overlay. Those interlocking will be CBTC ready. That means that whenever we install the CBTC, there is no changes required for those interlocking. And prior to award the next the planned job, which is the Queens Boulevard line, we want to make sure that we create some more competition. Today we have only 2 qualified suppliers, Thales and Siemens, and we like to utilize the Culver Test Track lab facility to get more qualified suppliers. So that's something we're going to initiate a project right away, and we're going to ensure that those people are qualified for interoperability and ready to bid and give us a better price for the Queens Boulevard line. We're going to continue to incorporate lesson learned and definitely recommendation we receive from the international peer review consultants and other railroads. Once we do that homework, I think the goal is to finalize, optimize specification requirements, and then develop a integrated rollout strategy that how do we roll out CBTC on the entire B division. Like Jay said, that we are far behind and we have a lot of catching up to do, but we don't want to make a mistake also. We want to create a good integrated project. So the new car procurement, traction power upgrade, and the interlocking replacements are integrated together with the CBTC deployment. So that's our goal.
Questions, comments? Okay. I think we set 2 goals for this meeting. One was to be able to get through 3, I think hopefully informative presentations, and the second was to be able to adjourn by 3:10. So with help from our colleagues, I think we met the first goal. As chair, I'll take credit for the second one. Can I have a motion to adjourn? Thank you.